It's a very scary story about the omen and who like to play with rivers and water. For today's story, I think it's very interesting because I am a man obsessed with water and the countless mysteries that lie deep beneath the river that I can never know. That's what most Westerners say. One is Ma Da and the other is Mrs. Tui. This story happened in Long Suyan in Jiang City, right at the Dui Tan Bridge, and specifically, this story happened in 2011. You say, your neighbor has two people who were arrested by the water into the Kai River. It was about 1500 that day. Your whole family is lying there watching TV. I was surprised to hear scream. It's all smooth, but the screams, those 7 bars are those of relatives. In your family see, I just ran across your house. Because your house is in an alley down the river. You don't understand what happened. You just heard that my God. He took a shower and jumped into the river. The village is in a panic. Then people can imagine the feeling. When you know the news, my family fell into the river. How horrible it is. Your whole neighborhood just pulled together. Out into the river. Looking across the bridge, there are people on the bridge too. When you get out there, you see this guy's family sitting there crying. Crying always says, oh my God, he jumped in there. I don't know why it doesn't show up. Then, suddenly, in a crowd, there's a girl. This girl just told her family to go home now. Take his pillow and throw it in the river. If that pillow is anywhere, it's standing still, it's not floating. Well, his body is lying there. And then this guy's family is also scowling. Go home, take his pillow and throw it into the river. This river is so big, and the water's very tight this time. So I just dropped the pillow. At the head of the pillow it drifts. It's drifting off the bridge. It's about 10 meters from the shore right now. There's a huge bunch of 6 vases here, and the water is very strong. I don't understand why you're there. Does this pillow stand still? If you see that, everyone is happy, so a lot of people just jump in. But I can't see it. From the afternoon until 1900, I still can't see this guy. If you remember correctly, it seemed to be the 15th lunar month, so the moon is so bright. On the bridge, my family, my mother is crying so hard. Then there's a girl, that's what she told his family. Now go buy some fruit, buy a bunch of incense, and then take that bucket of water and go down that river. Dip water in the bucket, then I'll find it for you. This friend saw it too. You see that girl burning the incense stick, and she stood there and she said something she didn't know. After that, she took that water, she gave sound to the moon. It's all in the water. She's still vowing. People, she fucked after a while. Then she said, it's now down below the 6-pack in the afternoon, where the pillow stands still. Get down right there, go up, because she gave him permission to come up. It is true that everyone is in the picture. People just started coming down right there. People are curious. Just like that, people touch your hand too. That's the same place I didn't see in the afternoon. By the time he could get up, this guy was stiff and slippery. I'm all moss, and this guy's lying in the river with 2 hands. Stiff curl. What is it? Friend, I heard it was that afternoon. This group of 4 drinks. 2 men and 2 women are ready to jump off the bridge. River shower play. But in this group, there's a woman who can't swim. I was drunk and too excited. Jumped down too. I can't swim, and part of me is drunk. So Ra just jumped in and was overwhelmed. I can't swim. Then, this guy C just saw that this doesn't seem right, and just swam to the hip. In general, this guy also has a good heart. Swim out there to pull her in. But when Ra gets there, you can't save her. Maybe this woman can't swim. So just hold me tight. This guy can't swim to the shore. In the end, they both drowned. When this guy saved her, he hugged her to pull her to the shore. That's why I pulled this guy up. Your hand is bent. That's it. People. After that, Mr. C's family found you. Your family has not found you yet. A lot of people are looking for it. But one by one they went ashore and didn't say a word. They didn't take any money either. But the strange thing is that in this group of divers, I have a very young son. He stepped onto the shore, but he said a sentence that scares everyone. The chicken skin is gone. He said a word to his mother. Stop trying to wait. Your child will rise up tomorrow. Because I went down into the river earlier. I went downstairs and saw your son sitting down. I see your child squatting down there. I'm sitting with 2 straight hands. General White Chong is like a diamond. That's why there are two people watching this guy. He just said more. The person below told me, your child is so messed up. So they came down here to take the blame. After that, this guy doesn't get paid either. He left until about 12 o'clock the next day. Someone found out that this woman emerged from the Tan Dui Bridge. About 200 meters. That's the Hoang Diu Bridge. The family also brought it to the funeral. It's nothing since then, until one day, about a few months later. Your Aunt C is dreaming. To see a dream, she saw that this guy C asked for dumplings. He said I craved cake. And he said I'm down here and I'm sad. Are you cold? It's even worse in this dream. He also said he wants to take one more cousin with him. And Ra is from there. His cousin's family is terrified. Let's take each other to Saigon. Later on, you will hear about your CS. Say it again first. The day that C died, suddenly he came to his house. This girl let me have boiling water to eat noodles. He told her a question. It's Ood. Go to your wedding tomorrow. Then she found it strange. She said, are you crazy? You said you were married to someone. This guy just answered a question. I'm getting married. I'm staying at the six-pack place. I thought my nephew was joking. That's why she doesn't care. This is your word. Where to say? He added that it was natural to have a drink yesterday. The one I bought is the one I lost yesterday. And then it ran to the bridge. He looked down at the bridge. He saw someone sitting there and he twisted it down. It's true, after piecing together all the stories. So these two guys jump right off that bridge. And there's 6 vases at the foot of the bridge. This guy said, I think this is a sign. Yeah, it's not such a strange coincidence. What is a wormwood charm? And answer the question as SAO people. We can use wormwood spells. These will be the sharing of the spell. From your spiritual perspective, Thou Nguyen, what is wormwood? Wormwood is a herbaceous and tuber plant. The size of the smallest. It's going to be smaller than the turmeric. It's usually wormwood, like black wormwood, worm her deep, mango girl wormwood, if only the size was bigger. It could be bigger than a piggy bank. It's like a tiger wormwood. There are some species that have scientific names. It's been scientifically proven to have therapeutic effects. For the people, for example, there's some kind of wormwood. It helps to energize people and help people increase their toughness. Ra is the people. I mean, they're kind of people. People are looking for the south incense. That stuff. People often use wormwood for trips. Forest for a few days. That's why there is a saying, search for the deep. Besides those highly medicinal wormwood, there's still a lot of toxic wormwood. If it's mild, it can cause skin rashes. If it gets worse, it can cause poisoning and can lead to sickness and loss of life. In short, wormwood is just a medicinal substance. It's an herb that the experts, it's especially refined and cultivated. They raised him in a theocratic state. Or to put it another way that's easier to understand, they use their powers, their secrets to infuse the wormwood. Into this wormwood, people have a saying, so let's put aside our doubts about what I think is absurd. Because in us, some people have seen the scene. It's magic. The people of the high-hand shamans, it's like they're doing something. Pain in the flesh, right hip. If you are a normal person, you can get hurt, and they're perfectly normal. So if we're going to reject it somewhere, I have to admit that they're talented, and they have some kind of mysterious power that we ordinary people can't have. People often say that men are good at magic, Central Asians are good at correspondence, and the Northerners are good at poison, or raising poison, because of our South, influenced by the mystery of Cambodia, is Cambodian, and the Laotians, so it's the development of wormwood. It's also from there, and the Middle East. Some people are under the influence of birds. It's called PA care. So they're good at matching and matching. As for the Northerners, people are influenced by the Chinese. Because China is a country. In ancient times, people used incense and poison to destroy the opponent. These things are general. It's just general comments. Who are good at witchcraft? Just count on your fingers. It's not that we all know. And the majority. If someone knew about the wormwood spell, then surely people will know about the edema and the poison. It's about wormwood, and a wormwood charm is a kind of spell. It's made from old wormwood. Usually, it's used to summon the dark supernatural. To follow the rules, and the magical purposes for which they were created. Legend has it that, when shamans practice wormwood, they are trained with chicken in their own blood, then take a shower, and feed it at certain hours, and even recite the spell. Take care of it. Sometimes it's more than taking care of your kids. And besides that, it's a lot of mysterious things happening in the process of wormwood farming. According to that survey, there are about 100 species of wormwood in the world. It can be used as a charm, and they're scattered all over the world, even in the depths of the forest. Because they're plants that have special properties, must exist for a long time, in those places where there's a lot of gas. It should be these kinds of wormwood. It will usually be spiritual. It's magic, or the places where the devil loves it. Let it stay. It's like the spirits. People often like to stay on the banana tree, or places with banana gardens. Ra is in the folk, when there are soul-searching ceremonies, or build a tang altar for the recently deceased. Then they'll build a banana tree there. It's also because of that. But once we talk about magic, it is mandatory. There's a power-hungry force that's succeeding. If people use it for bad purposes, then these underlings will often be demon lovers. Usually they will hurt people. If you can hurt more people, at the same time, they will gain supernatural powers. Ra's city is that these underlings are very fond of. People are often called to help. Let them do the 7x7 work. Then, how do people finally use wormwood spells? I want to use magic to hurt people. There must be one of the following information. The first is name and age. The second is the exact address where the person lives. If there's more photos of that person, the better. If there is no, the enchantress will cut the paper into human figures. Then write down that person's name and address. Next up is the enchantress who's going to play the harp. Read the spell and do French. Call for the inferno, using their supernatural senses, to beat people up, at certain times of the day. It has to be the right time. The right time, destroy it strong. Those hours are usually the hours of conflict. The date of birth of the victim, it will maximize the effect. It comes here naturally. I remember an acquaintance of mine who is also. They really don't get it all the time. They're just suffering from pain marks in their bodies, at certain times of the day. And it's repeated every day. Into that time frame, continue. This is when the enchantress will burn the wormwood. To smoke into that cartoon. My mouth reads the spell. Let Sai make those villains torture people. What about those underdogs? I will use my own thanes to beat the injured. And those bruises, it won't be a wound on the flesh. That it becomes internal trade. It's because of the evil spirits. It penetrates deep into the body of the victim. If you don't know, keep it for a long time. Over time, the disease progresses. It will lead to death. Or another way, people, the enchantress can use a sensor. There's a tablet in there. Write down the name and address of the person who was injured. For that male, then use 7 incense compresses. For Asian women, use 9 to put it in that sensor. Above the sensor, hanging the picture, the information of the injured person, so that these incense cubes, it's haunted by that picture. Then the teachers continue to recite the mantra, sending soldiers to beat people. They are usually the injured. At certain hours of the day, they'll be sick and tired. The mood is always restless and worried. After those hours, it starts to get lighter. Day by day, if you don't find it early, the disease will get worse. But most doctors don't get sick. How do people feel? You can leave a comment below. Bye-bye.